Throughout the history of Minecraft, there have been many Minecraft players who have pulled off near impossible stunts, and as such have been regarded as some of the smartest Minecraft players ever. However, how smart is the average Minecraft player? Someone like yourself, perhaps. That's why in today's video, I put 100 players in a puzzle-like arena, where the weak would be weeded out and the strong and the smartest members of the group would move on. I present to you the Intellect Experiment. Also, side note, this video was heavily inspired by Boostfer, so go check him out, link in description. Off release, contestants were met with the first of 5 puzzles they needed to solve in order to move on to the next arena. How it would work is each round, the top 50% of people to complete it the fastest would move on, while the rest would be eliminated. However, for the first round, only the first 25 would be able to move on. The first room they were faced with was the purple room, and if you do not like math, you will absolutely hate this one. In order to complete the puzzle, you had to finish and find the answer to the unsolved equation. Here's what the players had. They had an equation that read chicken plus fox equals axolotl. Now, I'm no biologist here, but I don't think that's how that works. Then, they had another equation that read sheep plus chicken equals 6. Then, the final equation read 2 chickens minus 1 cow times andesite block equals what? Now, in order to solve this, you need to know the value of chicken, cow, and andesite. Take a good look at the room. How would you solve it? What possibly could be the numbers associated with each of the mobs to get the correct answers? Now, this seemed pretty lost, unless, of course, you looked around more carefully and saw a few signs hidden. By hidden, I mean they weren't really hidden. They were probably hidden by someone who's blind, because they did not realize they weren't hidden at all. There were 2 signs. Here's what they read. There was a sign behind the andesite block which read, "Don't blow me up," exactly how you see spelled. Other sign read, "Cow may or may not be y is equal to the absolute value of 5x minus 25. So cows seem to be 5. But what could be determining the other values of the mobs? You still need to figure out what chicken, fox, axolotl, and sheep were. And no, I didn't just assign random numbers to all these mobs. The numbers actually make sense. What could it be? The solution was the hearts of the mobs. Chickens have 2 hearts, and thus the value associated with chickens was 2. Cows have 5, so thus cows were 5. Using this knowledge, you can almost solve the first puzzle. However, you still need to know what andesite is. And andesite doesn't have a health stat, it doesn't have hearts. But it does have a blast resistance stat. And its hardness is 6. No, not 6 inches, or centimeters, or feet, just 6. Or, you could have read the sign and looked up, like it said, and saw a giant 6 plastered to the ceiling. With this knowledge, the equation was 4 minus 5 times 6. And using order of operations, you would know that the answer to this equation was negative 26, which so conveniently happened to be right on the wall. Now, the first person to get this puzzle was Jackhammer Jack, and he finished within minutes of the puzzle being open. However, everyone else struggled quite a lot, and Jack was the sole winner for around 15 minutes before other people started getting them and we started dropping hints. With these hints, players either rage quit or continued to solve the puzzle, and eventually all 25 contestants have finished and moved on to the next level. In this particular room, there were blocks scattered all across the floor and on the wall. And in the center of the room, there was a sign that read, "What is the answer to the equation?" In addition to the variety of blocks scattered across the floor, there were also blocks on different sides of the walls. On the right side of the room, there were 3 blocks, each with numbers on them. Obsidian, 50, Iron Block, 5, and Shroomlight, 1. These numbers would be crucial to solving the puzzle. But, what do these numbers mean? On the left side, there was a completed equation. Endstone plus prismarine bricks equals deep slate lapis. And those have absolutely nothing in common. Literally nothing. And, in the middle of the room, there was an incomplete equation that the contestants must solve. Brick plus quartz equals what? Before I reveal the solution, comment what you think it is. And if you got the right answer, I will heart the comment. Ready? Okay. So each number on the block represents something. But what is it? ID number, blast resistance, maybe IQ, but the last one's impossible. In fact, The numbers represented the block hardness. Yes, that is what it's called, don't take it the wrong way. Obsidian had a block hardness of 50, iron 5, and shroomlight 1, matching the numbers on the block. You can confirm this by plugging in the numbers on the left side. Endstone has a hardness of 3, and prismarine brick of 1.5, and deep slate lapis has 4.5. So this really just proves how hard obsidian actually is. Then if you plug the numbers into the unfinished equation, you get a block hardness of 2.8. And there is only one block in existence that has that block hardness: blue ice. Inconveniently, blue ice is located on the floor. But just in case you're colorblind, we added a sign so you know that is blue ice and not any other type of ice. Players began to guess and started to understand the puzzle. And just as the first room, the first player to get it was Jackhammer Jack, obtaining first place minutes ahead of everyone else yet again. Eventually, players began to get it right, and Underscore Fluffy took the 12th and last spot. However, his friend, Floppy, did not get in, and as such, sacrificed his slot in order to give his friend a chance. The top 12 contestants were now brought into the Aqua Puzzle. This one was different than the other puzzles, and it was more interactive, with each player having their own room. In the puzzle, it had a variety of blocks lining the wall with redstone lamps above them, in addition to 4 hanging ores above them: gold, diamond, iron, and copper. What about the other ores, you ask? Well, they don't effing matter. But the main attraction of this room was the tower in the center of the map. It had a sign down bottom prompting you to go up, and on top there were different blocks, the same color as the ones on the ceiling. However, the gold block was near the diamond corner, and the diamond block was near the gold corner. And finally, in the beginning of the room, there were signs that read this: "I hate to digress, don't put me in a chest, for I smell." Yeah, I kinda got sick of rhyming and just gave up on that one. And the second sign says this: "For what block shall we stalk to ignite with a redstone light?" This also was a bad rhyme, but this was the question the contestants must answer. They need to figure out what block the redstone lamp would light up. But how on earth could you solve this puzzle with the information given? Well, each contestant had their own room, and if you looked in the furnaces and barrels surrounding the map, you would find these items: ender pearls, coal, and kelp. The coal and kelp each had different hints on it. The coal had a hint that read, "Those with gold in their eyes shall see all and go forth to claim their prize." So, most people assumed it is something to do with the gold shape on the ceiling or the gold block on the pillar. And on the kelp block, it said, "No longer can I hide from dispenser's prying eyes." This led to a dispenser where you would find tons of ender pearls. Now that they had other pearls, contestants such as O'Trempy and Jackhammer Jack teleported up onto the platform. After a few failed attempts, of course. However, V Wolfie was the first one to notice something amiss. If you look closely at the diamond area, when you're standing on top of the pillar, you will notice there's a gold block in the diamond section that's 100% out of place. And no, I'm not stupid, I put that there purposefully. And as the hint on the coal said, find the gold and go forth. Then once you pearled to the gold block, everything seemed relatively normal. It was kind of weird, but it was fine. Except for the fact there was a hole in the roof. This hole leads you up to the attic, where you see a redstone lamp lighting up above a beehive, and a redstone lamp lighting up above the subscribe button, which you should press right now. Thus, the only logical answer is the beehive. This brings us to our final 6 candidates: O'Trempy, V Wolfie, Jackhammer Jack, XX Master, Worm, and Cash Uchiha. I give up. Uchiha. Got it. Now they're put into the last challenge before the final race. This room looks similar, yet distinctly different from the other rooms. It had random blocks covering the floor with an altar in the middle holding a chest. And on the wall, painted by Picasso Jr., aka me, a wonderful chest. No, I'm kidding, it looks like shit. Also, similar to the last puzzle, there were a variety of blocks on the ceiling. Upon entrance, the contestants were greeted with these 2 signs, and yes, the spelling is purposeful. Let's begin. I know you're eager to hunt for the chest. like a little beaver. I didn't know it rhymes with eager. To continue your trial, locate what lies inside the chest. And there was a third sign on the chest reading, "Did you really expect this chest to remain open? I would never." If you noticed, some words were capitalized, and if you combined all the letters of the words that were capitalized, you would get the word lectern. Now there were many lecterns scattered around the room, but only one of them had a book in it, and it was 73 pages long, and in it, it read, actually wait, this is way too long for me to read, it's an entire dang Shakespeare play. I'll just let you guys read that. However, on all the other pages besides the first page, there were a variety of lines and dots, or as most of you know, Morse code. And there were 73 pages of Morse code. It would be way too nice to put all the Morse code in one page. Like, come on, I have to scatter it across. And when you put it in a translator, it read, "Stand on the TNT and look out." Okay, it was meant to say up, but I may have screwed up the Morse code a little bit and was a little bit too lazy to fix. Across the floor, there was a single block of TNT. And if you looked up, you would find stalactites on the ceiling ready to skewer you. And the first person to get it was V. Wolfie, who solved the Morse code the fastest, followed by O. Trempy shortly after. And now it was a contending race between XX Master and Jack Hammer. The rest of them were very far behind and weren't on the right track to win. Both of these two players were very close and were racing against the clock. However, in the end, XX Master stole the last slot, being 45 seconds faster to the answer than Jack Hammer Jack. The final three contestants were O. Trempy, XX Master, and V. Wolfie. And now it was time for them to race through the final obstacle course in order to figure out who the smartest was. So now, for the finale. The finale consisted of 4 different puzzles, and the first one to successfully complete all of them and reach the end would win. However, if you die in any of the puzzles, you will be sent back to the very beginning. The first puzzle was a lava pit with a sign and blocks floating over the lava. The second was a redstone door where players needed to figure out what was wrong in order to move on. The third included a lengthy underwater maze hidden with surprises everywhere, including mobs and secret chests. And the last was a 100-foot long gap where participants needed to gather blocks and bridge across the 100 blocks of lava to the end. Whoever finished this the fastest would be crowned the winner and receive 50 USD. So this video was quite expensive, you should watch and subscribe. Off rip, each contestant completely ignored the entire challenge and just explored around spawn. There were a bunch of different bookshelves with hidden mysteries inside them that again really weren't that hidden. The 2 main attractions included a chest with a turtle helmet and a sign that pointed you to very specific coordinates. Those coordinates pointed them to a block in lava. And once you jumped through the lava, you would be greeted with a chest containing 19 durability shears. Why would anyone want that? Well, trust me, they wanted that. Each contestant started to find the stash, with O. Trempy being first and V. Wolfie not far behind, and eventually X Master got there as well. Now, they finally read the sign. The sign read, "Be careful and don't be afraid to go over." And again, yes, the capitalization is purposeful. They really should know this by now. And of course, no one actually understood what the puzzle was, so they just decided to brute force it. So, what was the answer? Well, each letter represents a different row of floating blocks, going B, C, D, O, which apparently is an acronym for Business Career Development Office. The stuff you never know. If we take the number they are placed in relation to the number they are in the alphabet, B would be 2, C would be 3, D would be 4, and O would be 15. Conveniently, there was 8 blocks in each row. So, logically, B would be the second block, C would be the third block, etc. Well, what about O? Well, it says don't be afraid to go over. And if you count up the blocks and go until you reach 15, you get 1. So, the final answer was 1. Of course, no one got that, and instead they found the secret path. O. Trempy was the first one to find it. It was literally just a barrier bridge along the side of the wall, and it took surprisingly long for contestants to find it. It was pretty shocking. Now, onto the next puzzle. This was a giant redstone contraption that was way overcomplicated, and if you asked me to explain what everything did, I could not tell you an answer, even if it was $4 million. However, the contestants had to figure out a way to open the door and move on to the next level of the puzzle, or figure out what was preventing them from moving on to the next level and report it to an admin. Once they'd done either of these things, they could progress on to the next level. So, what was wrong with the redstone door? At first glance, it looks way too complicated to figure out. However, this is a trick question. Because the door actually works fine, the issue is there's just barriers. Make it so they can't get through. Like if you step on the pressure plate, the door works 100% fine. I don't know why we decided to do this. It was kind of funny watching them struggle though, so I guess that's worth it. This puzzle took a while, but Trempy, followed by V-Wolfie, followed by X-Master, in that order, were able to complete the puzzle. You figured out what's wrong with it?
With the barriers.
Here, give me a second to break the barriers and you can move on, but good luck with the next one. Then the contestants moved on to the third puzzle. It consisted of 3 layers of an underwater maze. No tricks, no riddles, simply a maze. On each floor, there were a bunch of different windabouts that either led you to a hole, dropping you down into the next level, or running you into mobs and into walls.
Air.
Yes.
So drown right there. Go away, buddy. Okay, if I drown.
Yeah, go for it. You're gonna have to start from the beginning, but... However, because all the members had a thermal helmet, they were able to beat it quite rapidly. Well, except for XX Master, who got stuck and died to mobs a few times. Bro, XX Master died to the Guardian. Oh my god, that is amazing. However, in this puzzle, there was hidden secrets, and Trempy was the first one to find it. There was a passageway where if you broke a certain chest, you could see a straight drop down and immediately skip this part of the puzzle. And although he got to the final stage first, V-Wolfie was on his tail, having arrived at the final puzzle only 30 seconds after Trempy. It would be a race for the time. It was a 100-block gap the players had to cross, and players had a lot of items at their disposal. These items included 4 oak blocks, 17 bone meal, 21 blocks of dirt, 3 signs, a chest, a composter, and 9 wheat with 18 seeds. So, how would you get across this 100-block gap? Well, if you turn the wood into planks and then into slabs, you would turn your original 4 blocks into 25 blocks. 24 of them being slabs and 1 of them being the crafting table. Then, if you harvested the wheat, you could turn that wheat into a hay block. And using the composter, you could turn the seeds into bone meal and create 2 bone blocks. Then, since everyone had found the 19 durability shears, they broke the leaves and had a total of 73 blocks to cross the 100-block gap. That doesn't seem enough, right? Like math doesn't quite make sense. But of course, you can always do a few things. You can always climb and jump along the walls, making it so you'd only need 33 blocks to cross the 100-block gap. Or you could also just bridge down the middle and break the blocks behind you to place in front of you again. On average, you get about 40% of your blocks back. You would almost have enough to cross the entire thing. The issue is, it's a lot slower than the wall method. But in order to make the wall method harder, I added a few things to it. There was a bunch of barrier walls on the side that prevented people from climbing along the wall. They'd have to scoot their way out and over, taking up time and valuable blocks, making it a close call no matter what they did. Off-rip, Trempy and Wolfie both did very different things, and they all had flaws with their method. Trempy had crafted up oak slabs and was bridging down the middle. However, he got cocky and fell, attempting to god bridge.
I better respawn there. No, I respawn all the way back here?
Yes, you do. Meanwhile, Wolfie was doing the correct method of bridging along the side of the wall. However, he screwed up big time. Instead of crafting oak slabs, he crafted himself ladders, losing him 15 blocks, making it impossible to cross with the materials he had. And as he got closer and closer to the end, he realized this and fell to his death. However, there was a rule with this event. You could break any block you needed to, as long as it did not intentionally break the event. This included the bookshelves in the very beginning and the ladders in Puzzle 2. And he realized this. So, he immediately ran back to the second redstone puzzle and broke as much ladders as he could, getting just enough to cross the final puzzle. At this time, XX Master had just caught up as he decided to die a few times to mobs and got stuck in the maze for a very long time. However, he was so far behind that while the rest of the contestants were bridging, he's just building a dick. With the race between Wolfie and Trempy, it came down to the wire. The speed bridging and break method versus the wall ladder method. However, Wolfie had gathered just enough ladders to succeed, and successfully making it, beating Otrempi by literally 10 seconds.
I was literally like, I saw GG's as I was like 2 blocks away from the diamond blocks.
This was incredibly close time-wise. Well, X-Master was still pretty far behind, but Wolfie successfully came out with the win and claimed the $50 prize for himself and winning the title of the smartest Minecraft player from this particular event. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It took a long time to make, and I also spent a lot of money on it from the server to the events, so please subscribe, join Discord to participate in events like these in the future. Peace out.